Hi Stampers, it's Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Welcome to today's live. Today's a Thursday. I'm doing something a little bit on the easier side, but we are doing 3D items. And so we're going to do this little Hershey Kisses tent, and it's not going to take very long. So we're also going to do this little holder for the Merci chocolates. And so two fun little chocolate ideas that you can use for Valentine's Day or any other time you want to give just a little something to someone special. So let's get started. Okay, here they are. And the little Hershey Kisses tent, this one I actually have a belly band around it, but it's also held together with those little, I guess they're 1/2 inch Velcros. And then I've got the Hershey Kisses held down with glue dots. So this is for the Hershey Kisses. And then this is the Merci holder. And Merci chocolates are something I wasn't really familiar with until I saw somebody else make something similar to this. And so I went kind of looking, and they are European chocolates, but I found them almost everywhere. I found them at my grocery store. I found them at the big box store. They were kind of everywhere. And they're not too expensive. And it's a great thing to, divide up and give a little something to several different people. Okay, so let's start out with our Hershey Kisses tent. And so what I want to do is come in with a piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock. And that's going to be 4 inches by 4.5. And then it is scored at 3/4, 2 inches, and 3 1/4. Then I have 2 pieces of designer series paper. This is the Made with Love, and these are 3 7/8 by 1 1/8, and that's for a little tiny skinny border. You could do them 1 by 3 3/4, and then the border just be a little bigger. Depends on if you're freaked out by 1/8 inch. This one is 5/8 by 3 7/8. That's going to be the little flap on the top. As I said, I have those 1/2 inch Velcro dots. I die cut a heart from Flirty Flamingo, and I have a real red piece that I'm going to use as my belly band. And this one, okay, this is because it's a belly band. The scores are kind of the same. It's a titch over 3/4 inch, and then a titch over 2 inches, and then let's see, 3 5/8. So it's just, they're a little bit bigger. So rather than being 1 inch for each of these, it's like 1 inch and 1/16. And then it's got the little flap. And I'm going to make that little flap be on the inside because I want that to be kind of hidden. So let's go ahead and burnish this with a bone folder. Patricia said she had to cancel her class due to the weather. That's kind of a bummer. I know the ladies look forward to that. But yeah, we don't want to risk them being out in freezing cold weather. Probably not super safe. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put these on. Because I'm working with that 1/8 inch border, I'm going to use liquid glue because that's going to give me that little bit of extra. Somewhere here I have a pin. I keep kind of one of these quilting pins or a hat pin kind of handy for whenever the tip gets clogged up. Probably my fault for leaving the cap off at one point. But then I have to be careful when I squeeze it. I don't want to squeeze too hard and then too much comes out. if I was to do that, if I squeeze this and a whole bunch comes out and I'm going, ooh, that's way too much glue. One of the things I can do is take my next layer and then I'm just going to put the two of them together. And that's going to take some off of this one, so it's not as yucky. Too much glue can make it get kind of oozed out the side. And because I already have a little bit of glue on this, the only thing I have to do now is make sure that there's some on the edge, because I do want to make sure that it's going to get good connection at the edges as well as on the inside. Come on, this is being finicky. Okay, so I am watching to make sure that my hearts are right side up. It would look a little silly if they were on there upside down. They probably wouldn't notice, but let's just work on keeping those upright. So since I know that's going to be the front, those are upright, and then my second piece is going to go here, and I'm going to make those upright. And you'll notice when I open it all the way up, I could not have done that flat. I don't know what this is doing. Come on. Ooh, there it goes. Ooh. Sorry, I'm being a little messy with my glue. That was not intentional. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I left the lid off of it the other day. Not a smart move. But did y'all know it had that other end on there? So I'm going to have to mess with that one. Okay, so I'm keeping the hearts right side up, as I said. We're going to put that on the back. And then I need some of my Hershey Kisses. So I'm going to bring those in from over there. And then I'm going to use mini glue dots. So I'm just going to stick one on the bottom. And then I'm going to put one at either end. And then work out the ones in the middle. Oops, did I grab it? Nope. Okay. There we go. Come on. Give the glue dot. Come on. There it goes. Okay, so those are situated in the middle. This is here. And then I'm going to take my Velcro dots, and I'm going to take the white part, which is the softer side of things, and I'm going to put those up on my lid because those are going to be more hidden. The other side of the Velcro dot is a little more clear, and so that's the part I want to go over my designer series paper, so it's hidden a little better. But in order to make sure that they line up perfectly, I'm going to take these and I'm going to put my sticky side up. So I'm basically, interlocking the hook and loop. And then I'm going to just close my treat holder. And then where it lands, that's where I want the other side of my Velcro dot to be. So that makes sure that they are perfectly lined up. Okay, so then I'm going to take this piece, which is going to be my belly band, and I usually start out with it kind of on because I want to make sure that it's going to slip and slide and come on and off easily. And so that allows me to make sure that I'm getting good connection there, but not going so tight that it's not going to open and close. Okay. Then I'm using the Endless Love stamp set. Once again, I have used the heck out of this one. And this time I'm just using the heart just to give my Flirty Flamingo heart a little bit of extra something. I'm going to use this one with the kind of texture on it. So just little scribbles. And let's do some Flirty Flamingo ink. And then remember I said before, these hearts are not symmetrical, so I have to kind of take a look that it is right side up, because this side of the heart is higher than this side. So when I line up my stamp, if this was upside down, it's not going to stamp correctly. And then I wanted to use the dies to cut out some white letters. So I'm going to use the little XO, not only on this one, but on the next one. So I'm going to grab my dies. And I'm going to pull both of those out so I can do them both at the same time. There's actually 2 with the XX and 2 with the XO. So whether you want kisses or kisses and hugs. And then I'm going to use adhesive sheet on the back. So I'm going to peel this off. Now, normally when I put adhesive sheet on, because it's white, I can definitely tell when it's on colored cardstock. But when I put it on white, it's a little harder to see. So I do suggest, if you were to put it on white, that you take a highlighter and decorate the back, write the word adhesive, something to remind yourself that it has adhesive sheet on it, or you might go thinking it's just a regular old sheet of cardstock. And use it normally, but I'm going to use this for the adhesive sheet. So I'm making sure that, yeah, that's definitely the area I'm die cutting on. Did y'all catch the fact that I went live yesterday? It was not my normal day to go live, but the postal man dropped off my Stampin' Positioner, which I was very excited about. We used to have the Stamparatus, and then there was a lawsuit from My Sweet Petunia, and a lot of companies had to stop making the stamp positioners because of copyright infringements they were claiming. And we have asked and asked and asked ever since then to get one back. And Stampin' Up listened, and we are getting one. So yesterday mine came, and I gave a full demonstration of this great little tool. It has the little pegs, and they're springy. So when you put your stamp down, you set this there and you press this down to pick it up. Then you ink it up, and then you stamp down. The magnets are a little better. They have little tabs. It's got a second smaller piece, so you could do repetitive. I did a lot of demonstrating with it yesterday, making lots of little samples of things that you can do with the stamp positioner. So go check out my other YouTube from yesterday and go check that out, because it's pretty cool. And as a demo, we're only able to order it until the 2nd and then of February. And then on the 3rd, it's going to go live to anybody who buys a starter kit. They would get that added on for free. And then at some point in the future, like way out, this is going to go, the starter kit offer is going to be February 3rd to March 2nd. And then they said at some time in the future, it will be added to the catalog, but we don't know when. They just said it will be a while because they want to keep this exclusive to the offer. So I can't say when it's coming. It might be a year, it might be more, it might be less. I don't know. They're not telling us. They just said that if somebody really wants a new stamp positioner, to get it now while it's offered. Okay, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to place these because they're kind of sticky on the back, and it allows me to have a little more control over placement and where it goes. But then I'm going to put some sticky on the back, and we're going to add that here. And then we are ready to move on to our next little treat holder. So there's the sample and the one I made. Now we're going to do the little merci holders. So that's this here. So in order to do this one, we need a piece of cardstock that is 1.5 by 7.5, and it's scored at I wrote this down. I wanted to remember this correctly because sometimes I go. Okay, this is scored at 1.5 and 1 7/8. It's this way. No. Okay, sorry. Let me start over. This piece here is real red, and it is 1.5 by 7.5, scored at 2 inches, 2 3/8, 5 3/8, 5 3/4. It's this one here that is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and this one is scored at 1.5, 1 7/8, 3 3/8, 3 3/4. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and burnish those. Again, see, look at that. See how it's just a little bit off? I want to make sure that when I burnish that, that I align the sides so it is indeed straight across. I even did this on the score tool. Just pays to watch that that edge is going to line up. Did anybody sign up for the Stash Summit? That kicked off last night, or yesterday, actually. It was last night in the East Coast. But the Stash Summit has started. My class is tomorrow. It's going to be on Saturday. It's day 2. If you paid for the ticket, you have access to absolutely everything right now. If not, there's a schedule that you go check out. It was a free ticket for the 3-day event. The videos will hang out for 24 hours on the free ticket, and for life if they're on the paid ticket. Okay, so now there's no sides on this, right? You all are catching that? That's on purpose. We're going to come in with the chocolates, and I'm going to set those inside, and then that's when I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm going to wrap that around. Okay, I'm going to kind of push it down, make sure I'm flush on the bottom. And then I'm going to open this up, and we're going to put some adhesive. Let's try this one. There we go. Perfection. Okay, we're going to do this one right here. And by doing this with the chocolates in it, I'm making sure that it fits perfectly with the chocolates in it. I'm being careful to wrap it around and make sure I am flush with the bottom. And that's leaving a little bit extra here. That is on purpose. I'm going to take my corner rounder. Hopefully you have one of these. And I'm going to use that to just tuck this under. So since there's no adhesive on the front, that's going to tuck right in like that. Somebody said I should have used tear and tape. I usually do. These are, Valentine's Day treats, which is right around the corner. So I have a feeling people will open them up and eat them right away. I don't think they're going to be something that sticks around and hangs out for display. Maybe that's just me knowing I wouldn't let something stick around and let the chocolate go stale, right? Okay, so a couple of people said they watched the demo. That's great. Okay, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool again to remove the backing, revealing the sticker part. Oops. I'm going to set that here on the front. And then I've been kind of hanging on to the little heart that popped out of the O. I think those can be used on other things. They're really cute as a little accent. So, I mean, they could be stuck on here. It's kind of a small lid, but you see what I mean? It can be added on as a little, like an embellishment. So I'm going to push those to the side and save those for another project. And then I'm going to take a string of ribbon. This is 1/2 inch ribbon. It's white and it's about 8.5 inches. To keep it from unraveling, I'm going to go ahead and burnish the ends of it with a flame. Careful not to let it hang out too long or it will catch on fire. I just want the ends to melt a little bit so that they're not going to fray. Then I'm just going to wrap this around and then tie a knot. Okay, and I can get the first one and I pull it kind of taut and then it was shifting on me. So I couldn't get the next part of my knot done without everything shifting on me. So that's when I came in with my reverse tweezers from my embossing toolkit. And I put those on there to allow them to hold the knot in place so that the ribbon did not slip, allowing me to tinker around with this other part of the knot and then pull it taut. Then I can pull these out. So that got me a much tighter fit of my ribbon around there. And you could, I mean, kept them a little long, but you could trim them off shorter. Just be careful you don't light your project on fire if you go back and fix the ends. So that is our Merci holder and our Hershey Kisses. So hopefully you all like our little break from Fun Fold cards and the little treats that we made for Valentine's Day. Monday was my heart-shaped box, and then today was these little chocolate holders. I will be back on Monday at 2:30, and Monday the whole bonus days will be over. So if you have a wish list and there's something you want to make sure you place those orders now so that you get that $5 coupon for every $50 that you spend. And you can take advantage of the product of the month that is going on. And there will be a new product of the month in February. My guess is it probably won't come out until the 3rd. So if you don't see a new product of the month on the 1st, don't panic. It is coming. It's just not going to be there right away. So thank you for being here, and I will see you on Monday. Thanks so much. Bye.